Do you think Dubai is an unbeatable paradise for luxury shopping against all odds? Let's look at the picture. In 2026, the number of tourists passing through DXB airport plummeted by 20.6%. Hotel occupancy rates collapsed from 84% to a mere 33%. And the sales of luxury brands hit rock bottom with a record drop of 60%. These telling numbers reveal a harsh truth. The era of spending without restraint has officially collapsed. The geopolitical powder keg has exploded, combined with the high cost of living domestically, severing the lifeblood of the economy and causing the entire retail system to collapse like a domino chain. So, what is really happening inside these colossal empires, from historical landmarks to the most luxurious shopping temples on the planet? Let's walk through the desolate corridors to uncover the disaster at the 10 most famous retail graveyards in Dubai. Step into one of the first hidden corners of Dubai's ghost mall disaster. Festival Plaza in Jebel Ali. Once hailed as the commercial nucleus of the southern urban area, it now stands as a powerless monument to planning mistakes. Festival Plaza, developed by the Al Futtaim Group, once harbored grand dreams by anchoring its future to the country's largest IKEA hypermarket spanning 32,500 square meters, along with the presence of Lulu Hypermarket. But that turned out to be a critical weakness, a skewed model betting all its vitality on bulky sofas and basic household items. When people no longer have the money or even the desire to furnish their homes, that great anchor inevitably turns into a useless, space-consuming machine. Moreover, arrogance in the design has suffocated this once promising project. The mall is completely isolated from the Dubai metro system. In the scorching desert heat, customers are forced to rely entirely on personal vehicles just to reach the entrance. What a brilliant idea, making shoppers sweat across a massive parking lot just to buy a few everyday items. Then the dominoes began to fall. The saturation of mid-range apartment complexes in areas like Al Furjan and JDC caused population growth to slow. As rental pressures increased and investment returns declined, people tightened their belts. The 2026 crisis dealt the decisive blow. Festival Plaza abandoned its revenue targets and shifted its focus toward minimizing bad debts. The result was heartbreaking. Upper floors were hidden behind plastic barriers to conceal empty retail spaces. Expensive LED lights continued illuminating deserted hallways where almost no one walked anymore. The place that once echoed with laughter became nothing more than a quiet transit stop for essential shopping. Could it be that building an entire retail future around a giant furniture store was a fatal miscalculation? When even suburban residents stop visiting a mall, is there any reason for it to survive? Leaving behind the barricaded Festival Plaza, let's travel deeper toward the Abu Dhabi border, where a magnificent Italian-style town is slowly fading into silence. Travel more than 40 kilometers away from Dubai's skyscrapers to reach the outlet village, developed by Oasis. It was once celebrated as a masterpiece covering nearly 140,000 square meters, recreating the atmosphere of the medieval Italian town of San Gimignano, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. At one time, it was a true luxury shopping sanctuary. More than 125 world-famous brands such as Tom Ford, Armani, Dolce & Gabbana, and Valentino gathered here. The attraction was irresistible. Shoppers were promised discounts ranging from 30% to 70%, while its location next to Dubai parks and resorts helped attract massive numbers of tourists every day. But there was one fatal mistake. The entire shopping destination was built more than 40 kilometers away from the city center. From the very beginning, its success depended almost entirely on shuttle buses transporting tourists from central Dubai hotels. Then everything changed when the geopolitical crisis of 2026 disrupted international travel. Air traffic fell into chaos. Tour groups disappeared almost overnight. The flow of foreign spending dried up. At the same time, online luxury discount platforms gave local shoppers little reason to drive through the desert for more than 40 kilometers. The result was a quiet but devastating collapse. Luxury fashion brands began shutting down stores one after another in an effort to reduce operating costs. What remained became nothing more than a luxury graveyard. The contrast was painful, beautiful. Medieval-style stone buildings stood alongside rows of locked storefronts. Sales employees spent hours standing inside empty boutiques, waiting for customers who never came. Meanwhile, the massive air conditioning system continued running at full power, cooling walkways that almost nobody used. It was a cruel reminder that even the world's finest luxury cannot survive without a constant flow of tourists and spending. What value does breathtaking architecture have when nobody walks beneath its stone arches anymore? And are we now witnessing the beginning of the end for traditional luxury shopping? If an entire Italian-style shopping village can collapse simply because of its remote location, then what is happening to Dubai's oldest shopping mall? Let's return to the heart of Dubai to find out. Leave the distant suburbs behind and travel back to 1981, when Ghurair Centre opened its doors in DEA. It officially became the first modern shopping mall in the entire Gulf region. At the time, it stood as a proud symbol of Dubai's remarkable commercial rise. Years later, in 2013, millions of AED were invested in a massive renovation project. The expansion added 150 new retail stores, luxury apartments, and even five-star hotels. Everything seemed prepared for another golden era. But time shows no mercy. As Dubai continued expanding toward newer districts in the south, attention gradually shifted away from historic Deira. The city's development priorities changed. Meanwhile, demographic changes transformed the area itself. Deira slowly became home to a large population of lower-income immigrant workers. The wealthy customer base that once supported premium shopping almost completely disappeared. Purchasing power fell dramatically. To make matters worse, Deira's aging traffic infrastructure became another major obstacle. Parking spaces were scarce, making many tourists think twice before visiting. In an attempt to save the situation, management introduced AI-powered parking systems and expanded food and beverage offerings by nearly 40%. But those efforts could not solve the real problem. The mall was forced to abandon its luxury image. Premium fashion boutiques gradually disappeared. Affordable brands such as Nike and Sun and Sand Sports replaced many of the high-end retailers. Discount clearance stores took over spaces once occupied by luxury labels. Profit margins continued falling with little hope of recovery. Today, Ghurair Centre survives more as a reminder of Dubai's glorious past than as a thriving shopping destination. It stands quietly, carrying decades of history while watching the modern city move on without it. From the aging streets of Deira, our journey now shifts toward Sheikh Zayed Road, where another shopping center struggles to survive between two powerful retail giants. Welcome to Times Square Center. Located in the Al Quoz area, it once enjoyed what seemed to be the perfect location. Its comfortable community mall concept helped it achieve occupancy rates of nearly 95%. Visitors once flocked here to enjoy attractions such as Chill Out Ice Lounge, Adventure HQ, and the popular Ripe Market. Those days, however, are now only memories. The mall's greatest weakness lies in its size, with only 2 floors. It is simply too small compared to Dubai's enormous mega malls. Unlike larger competitors, it also lacks a major hypermarket capable of bringing customers back every day. Its position became even more difficult because it sits directly between two retail giants, Mall of the Emirates and the countless showroom destinations lining Sheikh Zayed Road. At the same time, rising rental costs in Al Quoz squeezed the profits of local businesses. As the 2026 crisis deepened, many small retailers closed their doors and left. A strange pattern soon emerged. From Monday to Friday, the mall remained almost empty. Only on weekends did temporary craft markets and special events bring a small number of visitors. Stores reduced their display areas, leaving long, empty corridors throughout the building. Times Square Center became a painful example of how a small community mall struggles to survive in one of the world's most expensive retail markets, Cana. Weekend crowd alone cover the enormous operating costs of such a property. Or does Dubai's retail industry now belong only to the biggest players? As traffic congestion continues to grow in Dubai's city center, let's move toward the northeastern suburbs and see whether the situation improves. Our next stop is Arabian Center, which opened in 2009 in MIRDIF. It was originally designed to serve middle-class local families. With around 200 retail stores, a modern cinema, and indoor entertainment facilities, the mall became a popular destination for residents of the surrounding communities. For years, it successfully met the everyday shopping needs of local families. Then came a powerful new competitor, City Center Mirdif opened nearby with a much larger scale, more attractions, and a stronger retail mix. Soon after, Mirdif 35, an outdoor lifestyle destination, attracted younger shoppers looking for open-air dining and entertainment. Arabian Center suddenly found itself trapped in the middle. It was no longer luxurious enough to attract wealthy shoppers. At the same time, it could not compete with the convenience and modern atmosphere of newer outdoor shopping destinations. The decline began quickly. International brands started terminating their leases one after another. Vacancy rates rose to alarming levels. Storefronts closed in large numbers, while advertising banners and promotional stickers were used to hide the growing emptiness. Customer traffic dropped sharply. The cinema and restaurant areas became unusually quiet. As if that were not enough, residents of Mirdif were also facing rapidly increasing housing costs. Rental prices climbed between 13% and 22%, forcing many families to reduce unnecessary spending. People focused only on essential purchases. Mall management even began turning off some lobby lighting to reduce electricity costs and save money. It became a powerful warning about the consequences of oversupply in Dubai's suburban retail market. When shopping centers continue competing against one another in the same neighborhood, somebody eventually loses. Who ultimately pays the price for these abandoned concrete buildings? And is this massive waste of retail space simply the hidden cost of Dubai's rapid expansion, leaving the quiet streets of Mirdif behind? Our journey now enters one of Dubai's most architecturally impressive shopping centers. Welcome to Wafi Mall, inspired by the grandeur of ancient Egypt. Wafi Mall stands as one of Dubai's most unique architectural masterpieces. It first opened in 1991 and expanded again in 2001. At its peak, the mall featured around 350 luxury stores, the famous Cleopatra's Spa, the Pyramids Entertainment Complex, and the elegant Convergent Souk. During the early 2000s, Wafi Mall was considered an exclusive destination for Dubai's elite, royalty, and wealthy international visitors. Everything about the mall reflected luxury and prestige, but time slowly transformed its greatest strengths into weaknesses. Its enclosed design, low ceilings, and dim yellow lighting, once intended to create an atmosphere similar to a luxurious Las Vegas casino, gradually began to feel old-fashioned. Meanwhile, Dubai's new generation of shopping malls embraced spacious glass domes filled with natural sunlight. Consumer preferences changed, luxury brands gradually abandoned Wafi Mall and relocated to Fashion Avenue at Dubai Mall, where customer traffic and international prestige were far greater. One by one, Wafi lost the premium brands that had once defined its identity. Its luxurious image slowly disappeared, leaving behind an impressive building without the commercial energy that had once filled its halls. Then came the most painful transformation of all. Much of the commercial space that once welcomed luxury shoppers was converted into offices for VFS Global, the Visa and Administrative Processing Center. Every day, thousands of people entered Wafi Mall, but they were no longer there to shop. They came only to complete visa applications and official paperwork before leaving immediately. Afterward, very few visited the restaurants. Even fewer entered the remaining retail stores. The contrast became impossible to ignore. The magnificent golden statues of the Egyptian pharaohs still stood proudly, overlooking rows of shuttered shops. The Egyptian temple had truly become a tomb for its own retail business model. Was Wafi Mall's decline a costly lesson, showing that even beautiful architecture cannot survive without the ability to adapt? And how ironic is it that a shopping destination once built for royalty now depends largely on people waiting in line for immigration paperwork, leaving the silent halls of Wafi Mall behind? Our journey now moves toward the beautiful coastline of Jumeirah, where another luxury shopping destination is quietly fading away. Welcome to Sunset Mall, located on Jumeirah Beach Road, one of Dubai's most prestigious areas. Sunset Mall enjoys a prime coastal location. Its modern glass architecture allows natural sunlight to fill the building while offering beautiful views toward the Arabian Gulf. The mall was designed as an exclusive destination for boutique fashion brands, contemporary art galleries, and stylish specialty cafes. Everything appeared perfectly positioned for success, but its greatest advantage also became one of its biggest mistakes. Management continued demanding extremely high rental prices despite changing market conditions. Instead of attracting a broad range of visitors, the mall relied almost entirely on the ultra-wealthy residents of Jumeirah. It never developed enough appeal for ordinary tourists or middle-class shoppers. At the same time, new outdoor lifestyle destinations began transforming consumer behavior. Places such as Box Park, La Mer, and Galleria Mall offered open-air dining, shopping, and entertainment directly along the beach. Younger customers increasingly preferred relaxing outdoors, with cafes and sea views instead of spending time inside enclosed shopping centers. The consequences soon became unavoidable. Boutique stores struggled to generate enough sales to cover their expensive rents. Designer fashion outlets quietly closed their doors. Art galleries disappeared. Luxury retailers left one after another. Today, Sunset Mall survives with only a handful of cafes on the ground floor trying to keep the building alive. The setting sun shining through its glass walls creates a beautiful but lonely image as empty corridors stretch through the building. Difficult question remains. Are extremely high rental prices really a symbol of prestige, or have they become a death sentence for retailers? If even one of Dubai's best coastal locations cannot guarantee success, what hope remains for the city's traditional shopping malls? From the quiet coastline of Jumeirah, our journey now returns to Sheikh Zayed Road, where another family-oriented shopping center is fighting for survival. Welcome to Oasis Mall. Owned by the Landmark Group, Oasis Mall covers approximately 130,000 square meters for many years. It was one of Dubai's favorite shopping destinations for middle-class families. Its success came from convenience, affordable prices, and trusted family brands. Stores such as Home Center, Baby Shop, Max, Emax, together with Carrefour hypermarket, attracted thousands of shoppers every day. But then came a severe economic shock during the 2025 to 2026 period. Dubai residents faced a dramatic increase in the cost of living. Housing rents climbed between 13% and 22%, consuming as much as 60% of the monthly income of many middle-class families. At the same time, parents struggled with international school fees ranging from 20,000 to 65,000 AED per year. Utility bills also continued rising. As household budgets became tighter, families began cutting every non-essential expense: home decoration, fashion shopping, electronics, and lifestyle purchases were postponed indefinitely. Another powerful challenge arrived through e-commerce. Online platforms such as Amazon, Noon, and Amazon.a increasingly dominated the home goods and consumer electronics market. Customers could now compare prices online and receive home delivery without visiting a shopping mall. Management invested heavily in renovating the central atrium in an effort to attract more visitors. However, customer traffic remained disappointing. Independent retailers outside the Landmark Group gradually surrendered their leased spaces. Upper floors slowly filled with closed storefronts and empty corridors. The message became impossible to ignore. When the middle class, the backbone of every consumer economy, is financially exhausted, mid-range shopping malls inevitably suffer the same fate. How can a shopping mall survive when its primary customers struggle just to pay rent, school fees, and basic living expenses? Is Dubai's rising cost of living only a temporary economic challenge? Or does it represent the end of the affordable expatriate dream? Looking at struggling shopping malls is one thing, but the story becomes even more shocking when we examine projects that failed before they were ever completed. Our next destination is Meydan One Mall in Mohammed bin Rashid City. This mega project was once promoted as one of the world's greatest commercial, entertainment, and lifestyle destinations developed by Meydan Group. The project promised extraordinary features. Plans included nearly 1.5 million square meters of retail space. It was designed to feature a 1-kilometer indoor ski slope, one of the world's largest fountain systems covering almost 28,500 square meters, and a massive retractable glass dome capable of hosting international events. The vision appeared almost limitless, but reality proved far more difficult. A combination of fluctuating oil prices, the global pandemic, tightening investment capital, and the geopolitical uncertainty of 2026 severely weakened investor confidence. Indirect investment declined sharply. The project's refinancing capability disappeared. At the same time, Dubai's retail property market was already suffering from an oversupply of commercial space. Developers repeatedly postponed the opening date. Construction plans were continuously scaled back in an attempt to reduce costs. Today, much of the project remains an unfinished construction site surrounded by dust and sand. In the middle of the desert stands an enormous concrete structure that never fulfilled its ambitious promise. It is a striking contradiction. Luxury villas surrounding the project continue to flourish, while the commercial heart at its center remains lifeless. The unfinished gray structure has become a powerful symbol of ambition colliding with economic reality. Even the boldest dreams must eventually submit to the laws of the market. Take one final step toward the greatest shock of this journey. Welcome to Fashion Avenue, the luxurious heart of Dubai Mall. Developed by Emaar Properties for years, Fashion Avenue was considered one of the most prestigious luxury shopping destinations on earth. More than 150 flagship boutiques of the world's most famous fashion houses operated here. Its success depended heavily on the enormous spending power of Russian billionaires and large groups of Chinese tourists. Then came the geopolitical turmoil of 2026. International conflicts disrupted air travel. The flow of wealthy Russian visitors declined sharply. At the same time, China's economic slowdown and changing domestic spending habits kept many Chinese tourists at home. Another challenge soon emerged. Wealthy investors from the Gulf region increasingly shifted their luxury spending toward new mega projects in Saudi Arabia under the Vision 2030 strategy. The consequences soon became visible. A strange phenomenon known as the ghost floors began appearing inside Fashion Avenue. Outside Dubai Mall, thousands of tourists still gathered around the famous aquarium and dancing fountains. Inside the luxury section, however, silence replaced excitement. Upper floors became eerily quiet. Luxury sales associates spent long hours standing inside nearly empty boutiques, waiting for customers who rarely appeared. Sales of luxury brands reportedly declined between 35% and 60%. Luxury retailers struggled to justify the enormous cost of maintaining their prestigious stores. To prevent the image of decline from becoming public, management reportedly instructed brands not to close stores or reduce operating hours. The lights remained on every day. The doors stayed open, but behind the bright displays, many brands quietly reduced staff and limited the amount of luxury merchandise placed on display. The goal was simple: protect the illusion that everything remained normal. Yet the silence inside the boutiques told a very different story. If even Fashion Avenue, the crown jewel of Dubai's luxury retail empire, must rely on administrative measures to hide empty stores, then how long can the illusion of endless prosperity continue? Looking at the bigger picture, The decline of these 10 major shopping malls is presented as more than a series of isolated failures, according to this narrative. It reflects the weaknesses of an economic model built on heavy dependence on international tourism, oversized development projects, and rapidly expanding retail space, while local purchasing power faces increasing pressure. As luxurious shopping temples become quiet corridors and ambitious mega projects remain unfinished concrete structures, Dubai is portrayed as confronting difficult economic realities. The era of unlimited expansion is described as reaching a turning point. Will this become the moment that pushes the city toward a more sustainable model? Or is it only the beginning of a larger transformation? Can a retail economy remain strong if it depends primarily on temporary tourist spending instead of long-term domestic demand? What do you think? Can Dubai reverse the trend and bring these malls back to life? Or has the golden era of these grand retail projects already come to an end? If you found this investigation informative, don't forget to like the video, share it with others, and subscribe for more in-depth reports on the hidden economic stories shaping cities around the world. Disclaimer: the content of this video is compiled and analyzed using market research documents, economic data, and survey information available during 2026. The information and opinions presented are intended for analytical, educational, and social commentary purposes only. They are not directed against any individual or organization. Any investment or financial decisions made by viewers are entirely their own responsibility. The creators of this content accept no responsibility for losses or misunderstandings resulting from the use of the information presented.